Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another black powder update. Just a little bit of sort of channel news. Now I've kind of miscalculated my in-hand figures. I thought I had like one extra battalion more than I did. So I've had to basically order a bunch of troops this week that will allow me to finish this brigade. Basically, I mean, obviously I have my Eagle miniatures in, but like I said in my last video, I want to put those guys as high a number regiment as possible within the two Dutch divisions, and the highest battalion is the 19th, and they are actually in the 1st Brigade, so I'm actually going to save those guys until I do the 1st Brigade. Now it did cross my mind, you know, to just basically do those guys and then just save them for the 1st Brigade. However, I decided not to, so it kind of leaves me with very little that I've got in hand that I can do. I mean, I have got, obviously, I think one of my militia battalions is going to be made up of leftover figures, so theoretically I've got like kind of half a battalion here, but it's not worth just painting those guys up. So apart from perhaps doing the brigade commander early, which is something that I don't generally do, but it is kind of like, you know, it's a situation where I might as well, you know, if I'm going to have a week where I'm not really doing any much, I may as well take that time to do something. So doing the brigade commander would be quite a good idea. Obviously the videos for single command figures are not very long, so I may well sort of do, well, it's either going to be one or there isn't, but I will try and do some kind of alternate video just to keep something going up. I've got loads of things I could do impromptu videos on, so there's no real worry about not having any content. So without further ado, wasting enough time, let's get into showing you these chaps. So these guys are the 12th Dutch line, and their command, they numbered, I'm trying to find my sheet, here we go, 431 men, and they're commanded by a Colonel D.O. Bagalar. At least that's how it's pronounced in British. The actual Dutch sounding version of it is completely different. Yeah, let's go in and give you a closer look at them as I normally do. So let's start off with the flankers. So these chaps are the Grenadier flankers. Again, a similar sort of style to the Belgian line. That they have, the flankers for their line units follow the French design of having a grenadier company and a light company. However, these guys are obviously called flankers, so these guys would basically be counted as flankers, but they have the red top of the pom-poms to denote that they are the grenadiers. And of course these guys have the classic sabre briquets, which front rank like to give them. However, it's not uncommon for flankers to have sabre briquets, so it's nothing that special. Like I say, they obviously got the puffs with the stripes on, and they're practically exactly the same. In fact, they are exactly the same figures as the Dutch line, apart from the fact that they have a different design shako. I think even the faces are the same. And of course these chaps are armed with their French type muskets. It wasn't uncommon for Dutch line to be using British India pattern muskets as well. However, I do believe that there wasn't many that used those particular types of muskets. There's more the militia who ended up with those. However, I did actually read that there were some India pattern muskets that were actually made in Holland as well, which is something that I didn't know. So they're actually Dutch produced versions of the India pattern musket. However, a lot were obviously supplied by the British too. But in this case, these guys have got the French style muskets, of which the name has dropped my mind at the moment. But that is that's the Grenadiers. 4th Company, 4 normal troops. Again, you can see that these guys have got the original Dutch blue that I use, the Imperial blue. We have a corporal in the back there, and it's strange the way that when the Dutch, the Belgians were on camera, their dark blue looked lighter, and the same effect is happening now with these guys. These guys have the Imperial blue, which is actually a little bit darker than it's coming out on camera here. But like I say, it's a good way of another identifier of making the two battalions different. You know, the Dutch and the Belgians, because it did seem that the Belgians used a darker blue on their uniforms. So that is the 4th Company. Then we have the Light Company of Flankers. Obviously, carbon copies of the normal of the Grenadier flankers, because they're all the same figure basically. And we can see that these guys have a sergeant as well, with the sergeant stripe there in white, and the corporal's stripe, which was it's in yellow, I believe. But that was on the other stand, wasn't it? Yeah. So that is the Light Company of Flankers. Next up, we'll go for the NCO stand. So here we have a bog standard NCO. Of course, these guys don't look any different from their troops really, apart from their rank stripe, and of course the white gloves that I give them, and they're bayonet armed with no sword. So that is the NCO's company. Then we have the musician stand. Slightly different drum design for these guys. These guys have got a where the Belgian drummer's design was a red triangle, a white triangle above, sort of interdicting the blue triangle, where these guys have just literally the red and blue together, a red and blue triangle together, taking up the entirety of their portion of the drum. So a slightly different drum design, but it's more or less the same. Yeah, that is the musician stand. Finally, of course, always my favourite, the command stand. Now, I did decide to use a horse mounted colonel for these boys. You can see this is a front rank mounted colonel, along with an entirely front rank battalion. We have him on a sort of a normal dark bay horse with black mane, black tail and black facings. And we have the standard and the secondary officer. Now the secondary officer, I actually converted his arm position. If you remember back to my Belgians, they had a commanding officer in this position. Now this guy is basically the same position, but I converted his arm. You can see that it's been sort of cut away from the body, and then I basically carved the arm up into 4 pieces to be able to sort of re-stick it back together straight. Now it's not perhaps the best job in the world, but I think it looks really good actually, and I'm very happy with it. So that's a bit of hardcore conversion there. I'd say, yeah, it definitely was hardcore. It's 4 pieces of an arm, and trying to sort of reposition the arm from where it was stuck to the body, moulded to the body. It wasn't an easy job. And although, you know, it may not be as complicated as some conversions, but it certainly wasn't an easy conversion, like, you know, cutting a head off and sticking a head on or whatever. I did actually have to do some major chip chopping, and I even had to do some filling as well. So that is the secondary officer there. Really happy with how he turned out. The standard bearer. Now these guys, of course, being the first Dutch line unit within that I've actually done, these guys get to use the flag that I'm using for the Dutch, which is the basically the same flag as the Belgians, apart from the fact that it has the reef around the outside, and I think it looks really cool actually. And it's a really good way of differentiating between the two different types, and I think it looks really cool. So that is the command stand, and that is the end of this video. This is the, like I say, the first unit of Dutch line I've done. There's actually another unit of Dutch line. Funnily enough, the 13th Dutch line, which I may bypass and do the first unit of militia when of course my reinforcements arrive, because like I say, I made a miscalculation and thought I had another unit in hand when I didn't. So the first, I suppose you could say the first logistical hiccup of this project so far, which has been flowing really well up to now. So yeah, that's the end. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for continuing to be subscribers. And yeah, I'll so look out next week for whatever I decide to do. Like I say, there'll definitely be something. There might be one, there might be 2 videos. There could even be 3, who knows. And until then, I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.